In this third video on questionnaires, we're going to look at a tiny little extra they can sometimes ask, which talks about bias. The best way of explaining bias, I think, is to talk through an example. So let's have a look at this one. Irfan wants to know how often people visit the gym in a month. Fair enough question. He designs a questionnaire and he's going to ask 20 people. He then decides to leave it with the receptionist at a fitness club. Have a think about why his sample might be biased. So if he leaves this questionnaire with the people who go to a fitness club, these are generally going to be people who are interested in health, fitness, looking after themselves. So his sample is going to come back saying that they're all heavy gym users, and from that he might think that everybody uses the gym 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, quite a lot. This actually biases his sample, because the people who go to that fitness club are actually going to be quite likely to go to the gym as well. So the data he gathers will be biased. It will pretend, it will look like people use the gym more than they actually do, and it won't be a fair sample. And the important thing is, you'll write your sentence about this one in different ways, but it's the key point you need to drag out about why something is biased and why it's not fair. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Jemana wants to know how often people play football in a month. She designs her questionnaire. She's going to ask 20 people, and this time it's left with the receptionist at an elderly care home. Have a think about why a sample might be biased. Pause the video here. Hit play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I don't see a lot of 80-year-old Premiership football players. So the big problem that Jemana faces here is that people who live in an elderly care home are probably not going to be very likely to be regular football players due to their age and possible health conditions. So the data she gathers will be biased because it will say that football is not played particularly regularly, and that will create a not fair data sample. Here's a second question to have a go at. Again, read the question carefully, pause the video here. When you think you've got an idea about why Raheem's sample might be biased, hit play and I'll explain my thoughts. Okay, so Raheem wants to know how often people buy CDs. He's got his questionnaire. This time he's going to ask 50 people, and he goes to a music store. Now, the people who go to the music store, what do you think they're there to buy? Music. And possibly that's on CDs, maybe it's on iTunes vouchers, but these are people who are going to be spending money on music. So his sample is going to be biased because the people in the music store are already there to buy music, so his data gathered won't be fair. Here's your third and final question to have a go at. This time Kuba wants to know how often people play video games, so he designs his questionnaire and he decides he's going to ask all of his friends in school. Have a think about why his sample might be biased. Pause the video, hit play when you're ready for my thoughts. Okay, so Kuba, it doesn't say what year he's in school, but let's assume he's in year 11. And most of his friends around about that sort of age are going to be playing lots of video games, probably more so than if he asked adults. So the key point here is that his school friends are all around the same age, and people around that age play video games a lot more than people say in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or even going back to the elderly care home, people in their 80s. So again, the data that Kuba gathers will be biased and it won't be fair. Thanks for watching this video. That's the end of the questionnaires video. Hopefully that's helped you understand one of these key GCSE topics.